Let us chant the shlokas from the beginning, whatever we have studied. Arjuna Uvacha Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam Niyojayasi Keshava व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम् श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्यकर्मकृत् कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य यास्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते. We did up to this. Now, yesterday I had varied reaction from people. Some people said that quite a few listeners said that it was very good that you were connecting the different shlokas from the different chapters. That gave us the deeper understanding. Whereas some others said that they got completely lost in the process. That it was confusing. So, that cannot be helped, that it will be like that only. We don't prepare the lecture and speak. Whatever we see, seeing the people, seeing the faces, whatever comes out, we are the first listener. We have to listen to what is coming out of it. When something comes out, there must be some reason, is what, that is our faith is. I was telling in the morning also to them that in Bhagavata Satram, generally it is a Malayalam function. So I don't like to speak there because most of the people are sitting in front, all sannyasis and various others also from the villages. They don't know English, most of them. So giving an English lecture there is quite difficult because the front rows are all occupied by people who do not understand English at all. At least if you can see some faces where you see the reflection, the reaction, then you feel comfortable. So for a few years, Swamiji listened to me, and I was relieved from speaking. But then again, some others, Vijay Kumarji and others, said that we should have some English lectures, and so I was forced to speak. So after speaking, once after speaking, I felt very dejected that what is this? It doesn't appear to be going anywhere, absolutely flat. So But it so happened that that evening a devotee, arrived in the ashram, and he told Swamiji that today I got great enlightenment from Nutun Swamiji's lecture. So something he mentioned about what I spoke and all that, everything. So then Swamiji called me and see what is he saying. You are telling that it's all unnecessary, why are you pushing me into this? Like Arjuna saying, Ghora karma. Why are you pushing me into this Ghora karma? So like that. So that means somewhere, sometimes 1 or 2 or 5 also, if they get a little enlightenment, it is a purpose fulfilled. Because we are not preparing anything and saying, whatever we see, whatever comes out, whatever we know, depending on that something comes out. And whatever is needed by the people, that comes out. We are the first listeners there. And here we have people from primary level to postgraduate level, if not PhD, at least postgraduate level to hai, PhD level we have kuch, 2-3. So how to, this is our trouble, that in everywhere, the spiritual lectures, we don't have any level of the audience. It can be anything, from a person who is listening to it for the first time, to a person who has been listening to it for 50 years. Tiwari ji ka kitna saal hua? 50 years ho gaya na? So at least he has listened to Swamiji's Bhagavad Gita exposition 3 times, 4 times minimum. उससे भी ज़्यादा होगा. तो ऐसा मिक्स्ड ऑडियंस है. हम क्या कर सकते हैं? जो निकलता है, उसमें जो फायदा होगा, क्या कर सकते हैं? That is why the morning class we have kept separately, because it is for a different group of people, and many of them are unexposed, so that we can take at a proper level understanding. And it's a very informal class we have in the morning, discussing and explaining the way they want. There actually the different chapters we are going, it is not a comparison of the chapters or what is Bhagavad Gita saying here. They're not like that. Shloka, to understand each shloka, unless we understand the shabdas, the words. See, yesterday we had the Naishkarmya and Sannyasa. So, unless we go into these words according to Bhagavad Gita, we will not have a complete understanding. So, what I did, I took from the book itself, from the Bhagavad Gita, where Sannyasa is defined and discussed, where Karma Yoga is defined and discussed, and where Naishkarmya is defined and discussed. For that, I had to go to 2-3 chapters, and I have specified the shloka also. So it needs a little patience to go into, and that only will make our understanding effective. Otherwise we will read the shlokas, understand the general meaning, the translation of it, but we won't be able to apply it. Unless we understand the words, their deeper meaning, we will not be able to apply the knowledge in our life. So here the next 2 shlokas, 7 and 8. Yastu indriyani manasa niyamya rabhaterjuna karmendriyai karmayogam asaktasya vishishyate. Yastu indriyani manasa niyamya rabhaterjuna karmendriyai karmayogam asaktasya vishishyate. Saha vishishyate. Saha vishishyate means he excels. The person excels. Who excels? Saha vishishyate. Who is that Saha? He says, Hey Arjuna, yaha tu indriyani manasa niyamya. Indriyani manasa niyamya asaktaha san. This san I am adding to make it simple. This means asaktaha bhutva, becoming asakta, remaining unattached or disattached. Yaha tu indriyani manasa niyamya asaktaha san karmendriyaihi karmayogam arabhate saha vishishyate. So many things are there. What is he doing? He is this, first of all, we have to understand this niyamya. It is a very deep word here. We have to understand the niyamya, meaning of niyamya, with relevance to the other words. He has used karma yogam, asaktaha, these two are there. So niyamya, actually it doesn't mean controlling the indriyas, no, not at all. Suppressing the indriyas, not at all. Niyamya means it is a discipline coming from within. Now when the discipline coming from within, it is not a control or a suppression, it is a sublimation. Discipline coming from within means, in doing karma yoga, I said that you have always to get connected to your Atma, means the Viveka Buddhi, I said. That Viveka Buddhi which is always distinguishing between Shreyas and Preyas, that what will take me to the auspicious goal and what will give me some pleasure but take me away from the auspicious goal. That is what the Viveka Buddhi is doing. Without the Viveka Buddhi we cannot do karma yoga. The yoga attitude can be implemented only with the Viveka Buddhi. Otherwise we will be doing whatever the Indriyas are looking for, whatever the mind is looking for, desireful mind is looking for. That yoga buddhi can be effective only when, as I said that last 2 days I have been repeatedly saying, when the carrot of happiness at the end of the work, that I will become happy, that carrot is removed, or the mystery of the carrot is opened up, disclosed. It will no more be able to delude me, so that I become anchored in my own self, in my Viveka Buddhi, and guided by the Viveka Buddhi. So niyamya is a discipline introduced from within by the mind. When the mind gets connected to the Viveka Buddhi, it will discipline the Indriyas according to the Viveka Buddhi. Suppose normally what is happening? Our Indriyas are slave to the outer situations. It is always with the slave to the ragadvesha, actually. It is not to the outer situations. Because of the ragadvesha, that I like to cling, whatever I like, I cling to that, whatever I dislike, I hate that. That makes our Indriyas slave. Indriya, actually, not only the Jnanendriya, the mind also is regarded as an Indriya. The mind also part of the Indriya, because there are certain things which the mind desires and we get involved. Suppose fame, it has nothing to do with the other Indriyas, but or say appreciation, some praise, that is the mind is getting clinging to that. So normally the Indriyas are slave to the outer situation, and the mind following the Indriyas is slave to the outer situation, and the intelligence helps the mind to fulfill the desires. That means intelligence is also slave to the outer situation. The whole slavery is going in up to the intelligence level. That is why the normal buddhi we apply in the worldly sense, we call it Vishaya Buddhi. Vishaya Buddhi means which is always trying to fulfill our desires, worldly desires and all. Because the mind is controlled by the Indriyas are controlled by the outer situation, the mind is controlled by the Indriyas, and the intelligence is following whatever the mind wants to satisfy the mind. This whole equation has to be reversed. For a spiritual sadhak who wants to do the karma yoga, this whole sequence has to be reversed. That is, the intelligence has to be connected to the reality of our soul. I said that even if you do not know what the soul is or do not have the experience of the soul, nobody can deny that deep inside, in anywhere in the world, people like love. Nobody is there, not a single human being is there who does not like love. He may not love others, but he like to have love from others. Actually, that is a foolishness. We don't need love from anybody. If we radiate love, love is a property of the soul. If we radiate love, we will be happiest. We don't have to wait for others loving me at all. That is another delusion we suffer from. Love, compassion, embracing all, including everybody. These are all common properties. These are all the soul properties. So, not harming anybody, not hurting anybody. These are constant. It is the innermost self will always have these qualities in anybody. So, they are the soul parameters. That at least we know. So let us get connected to that, to love, to expansion of the mind, to a inner strength, inner clarity, purity, lightness, whatever you may say. That all comes from the soul. So the intelligence, if you anchor the intelligence in the soul, then whatever the intelligence does becomes the Viveka Buddhi. It chooses according to the ultimate reality we are wanting to reach. So that is the Viveka Buddhi. So Vishaya Buddhi is replaced by the Viveka Buddhi by getting anchored to the soul. So now the Buddhi is following the soul's instruction, whatever the good for the soul, for me to ultimately attain the real identity, whatever is necessary, the intelligence is doing that. The intelligence will control the mind. So the mind will follow the intelligence, and the mind will control the indriyas. So the whole equation is getting reversed. Previously we were slave to the world situation. Now we are guided, disciplined by the reality of our inmost being, our inner voice, our soul voice. That is called niyamya. The niyamya means that we are guided by the Viveka Buddhi from the inmost voice of the soul, which will always make us happier, cheerful, expanded, all embracing, all loving. All these qualities will come. So that is the niyamya. He says that manasa niyamya arabhate. He is doing everything according to this inner discipline implemented by the mind. That the indriyas, when they get connected to the mind, then only they can function. Without the connection of the mind, they cannot function. So the implementation has to be through the mind. Even if the intelligence says, if the mind doesn't listen to the intelligence, then it will not be carried out by the indriyas also. The carrying conduit has to be the mind. इंद्रियों मन को बताने से है, और मन वो सुनने से ही, बुद्धि मन को बताने से और मन बुद्धि की बातें सुनने से ही इंद्रियों को हम अनुशासित बना सकते हैं. So he says, what does he do? Karmendriyaihi karma yogam arabhate. He is practicing karma yoga by the karmendriyas. The mind is disciplining the indriyas, and he is performing karma yoga. That means what? He is not saying he is performing karma. He said karma yoga. That means the yoga attitude is there with the samatva buddhi. That we have already explained. So I am not going again into the detail. That is, in working, he has kept the carrot of happiness away, and he is working from his own joy. The moment you remove the carrot of happiness, I will get at the end of the karma phala, then it is not karma yoga. Karma phala, the objective result will come simply by the causality, according to what you do, and the best way you do, the best will be the result. That we don't have to worry. But we are deluded by putting the karma phala of happiness, that at the end of the result, objective result, I will become happy, and that is why we are performing it. If that is kept away, then we will do whatever karyam karma, whatever comes, we will do. And because we have kept the disturbance of the desire away, we will do it out of joy. That is what is meant by karma yogam asaktaha arabhate. There is no question of sakti in his case, because sakti itself is not performing the karma yoga. Getting attached to what you like, hating what you dislike, that is the sakti. Sakti or asakti, both are that. Asaktaha means not having sakti or asakti. See, don't confuse these two. Asakti and asakti. Asakti is the reverse of asakti. Asaktaha means disattached. Sakti means attachment. Asakti also means attachment. But asakti means non-attachment. Is it clear? Acha. Sa vishishyate. He excels. Then he says, niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hyakarmanaha sharira yatra pichate na prasidhyeda karmanaha. See, again he is saying, Tvam niyatam karma kuru. Niyatam means this is the way you go on remaining active. Because karma jyayo hi akarmanaha. Not acting is worse, acting is better than not acting. Why? In the path of karma yoga, unless you remain in activities, you will not know where the attachment is, where the kalmasha is coming in, where the attachment is coming in. How will you know? Only when you if you remain in a cave happily alone, or today there is no cave, you can have a single room flat, where you remain alone throughout the day, you study and remain. There is no problem at all. You will find that you will feel so blissful throughout the day. It is so. You will be at the height of sattva guna. Even people, those who come, they will feel charged by you. Everything will happen. But the same person, you take him out and ask to interact with a few more people, gone. That should, unless the complete shuddhi comes, in the interactive state, you will not be able to have this kind of a fulfillment. Staying secluded and having the height of spiritual sattva guna, the sattvika level, is easy. But remaining active only, you will be able to know what are the defects what are the constrictions of the mind, what are the likes and dislikes, so that you can treat them. And then only through that you will become, the life can be divinized. Otherwise you segregate yourself and make a divinity around. But that will not divinize the life wholesomely. But if you remain active, then through the activity, the whole life has to be divinized. Otherwise you will not have this fulfillment. I can give you an example from my personal life. When I was in IIT Kharagpur, we are not supposed to tell it anymore. From our biodata we have removed the PhD and IIT Kharagpur, etc. because for a long time we have been carrying with that. You know why? Because always people say that, Swamiji, it should be given, because the moment it is said that he was as an assistant professor in IIT Kharagpur, there is a shake in the people. He has to be listened to. But if you just come as a sannyasi, nobody pays any heed. So, okay, accepted, though, lagado. But actually a sannyasin should not speak about the previous purvashrama life. But ठीक है, लगा दो करके चल रहा. Then not recently, for quite some years we have been discussing, is it right to put like that? Swamiji also is saying, कितने दिन ये लेके चलोगे? I also said that, Swamiji, you know what it means? It means that what we are as a sannyasin is Nikrishta, and what I was at an IIT Kharagpur is the Shrestha. Because all people are regarding, because I was a scientist, I was a professor, they don't regard me as a sannyasin. Sannyasins do not have any value in this world. So let us better reject it now, at least. Quite, we have become Buddha now. So at least now let us reject all those things. We will not. So we have given a new biodata. You must be finding in the brochure. It's a new biodata given. And in our website, etc. also we are going to change the biodata. So what happened is that there in our life we are extremely sattvic. That I was given to only the Shastrik Adhyan, except the few hours in the institute. Rest of the period I was given only to Shastrik study and meditation. Not meditation really, but contemplation and all. So it was a height of Sattva-guna state. And I wanted to give the full time to only to this Shastrik research and all. So that if I leave the job, then I can devote the whole time there. That was the idea. And finally we left the job. I left the job and went to the ashram, thinking that now I will be putting whole time in that. So when I entered the ashram, seeing me, Swamiji said that, oh, you have come, now we will make some constructions. The first word was this, now for a long time we have not made any construction, it's long due. Now that you have come, we will take up some constructions. That was the first shock to me, because construction I hated. Here when my Purvashrama father's house was being made, he was still working. So 2-3 days he sent me during the day to look after the construction, the masons are working and all. The third day the mason reported to my father that इस बच्चा को मत भेजिए, वो कुछ नहीं देखता है, वो चारपाई में लेटे हुए खाली किताब पढ़ते रहता है. The mason complained that I am not supervising him. See the fun of it. And I was really so, I was mostly reading Feynman lectures on physics. So at that time I was deep inside the great bliss that was giving me that Feynman lectures in physics. Because that there was a time I had already completed my school examination. I was about to get admitted in Calcutta, so there was a 3-month period vacant. That was the time I am talking about. So I was deep in studies of Feynman lectures. So that was my experience with the construction. I detested construction like anything. And when I entered, Swamiji said that, आगे तो कुछ construction